Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to Do Good Work Podcast, hosted by Terrell Strayhorn and Jaquan Johnson. We specialize in taking a deep dive into issues that truly matter. Each episode unpacks the challenges and opportunities facing today's leaders, from classrooms to boardrooms, offering insights that inspire real change. By redefining success, we're changing lives, empowering people everywhere to create environments where everyone feels a sense of belonging, whether at home, work, or school. So hey, sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we explore the issues shaping our futures, one meaningful conversation at a time. Let's go!
Well, hello.
Welcome.
Hello to everyone out there in podcast land. It's your co-host, Terrell Strayhorn, and aka T Rizzy, in the podcast studio for another live episode of Do Good Work Podcast. Listen, we are so grateful to each and every one of you who have joined us this evening. Before you go too far, like, share, comment. I'm in the studio with my co-host and friend.
It's your boy, Jaquan Johnson, as you know, also known as J Squared. Listen, I gotta say, I'm happy to be in Houston, Texas with you doing this podcast. Because listen, it's gonna be a fun time. I already know.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a fun time. Let's get it started.
Listen, there's so many things that we have to share and so many different parts of the day that we want to move through. Today, we're going to really focus on trying to deal with, one, the Black male crisis. We're going to talk about that in higher education. That's an important issue that we all have to pay attention to. And we're going to also spend some time talking about not just the Black male crisis, but issues of mentoring and how, adults really partner with young men and women and make a difference. And so mentoring is going to become another part of it. But we want to also spend most of our time really talking about what challenges face educators today, mostly in K-12 education, but even those of us who work in higher ed. There's some real challenges that are complicating our work today, and we want to talk about it on tonight's podcast. Now, before we go too far, though, y'all know our tradition, you know our game, and that is we start each episode with a word that starts with the first letter of our last name.
Yep.
That sort of describes our week or essence of our day.
Hey,
Gwen?
listen, I want you all to join us. So, based on your last name, how is your week going? Tap it in the chat so we can know, and we'll populate it on the screen because it comes to us. But again, my last name is Johnson, so J. My week has felt like, no, stop it. The last 6 hours, we were with young men, teaching them about belonging. And we're going to get into all of that during this podcast session, but it felt like jail.
Oh my!
And listen, I know some of you are like, jail. That it's associated with a lot of negativity. But how I'm seeing it is that in jail, you have to be on guard. You have to be aware about your surroundings, and being with students that were between the ages of 8 and 18. It's such a wide gap, and the average age was around, I would say, 13. And teaching a topic about belonging while there are students clustered in the corner snickering, and there are students asking you to use the bathroom, and while they're using the bathroom, you have to make sure that they get back on in a timely manner, staying focused on what's going to happen next because there are new guys coming in throughout the presentation. So you have to stay on guard and be aware of your surroundings and making sure you can pivot when necessary.
Yeah.
There are moments where we had to bring students into the conversation without breaking them down.
Yep.
So again, I think for me, the last 6 hours felt like jail, but it's not in a context that is negative in a way that like you're in jail because you did something bad. It's just like stay on guard, stay aware, hyper vigilant, making sure you know your surroundings, make sure you put yourself and others in the best situation.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was thinking about this. I mean, last name Strayhorn still starts with S. And that is that as I think about the week or think about the day, actually, I picked suspenseful. You know, it's very suspenseful being in learning spaces, classrooms, the program we were with today. Special shout out to Men Inc. Houston and their executive director, Justin Bertrand Pitts, doing incredible work in the greater Houston area, connecting with young men and boys around, sort of empowerment and uplift. And so we were working today, facilitating that workshop. And I got to tell y'all, it was suspenseful. It's like you don't know what's happening next. You don't know if the program will hit the way you hope it will hit. And even if it does, while they are engaged in the activity, where is the food? And if they're going to get food, when will the drink show up? And who's in the bathroom? And how long have they been there? And what's that noise you hear off in the distance? And oh my gosh, it's raining outside. How will this change the day? There's so much that's going on, so much movement. Makes it pretty suspenseful. So as I think about that, it was a great kickoff into our day.
Listen, I got to say really quick, is like one thing that I learned through that training with those young Black men, it was absolutely amazing. Like what happened today.
Yeah.
Is, I have an appreciation, an even greater appreciation for K-12 teachers.
Absolutely.
After today.
Absolutely.
Because, they face challenges daily that they have to understand, again, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, pivot, turn, what's going to happen next? How do I make sure that someone stays engaged, but also not lose focus on the lesson, the topic that we're talking about? And, there were moments where some students were talking in the distance, and I knew I became distracted, but I had to stay focused on what I was talking about.
Right.
So, we talk a lot about higher education, and we spend some time on K-12 because of the work that we do, but being in that space with 8-year-olds to 18-year-olds, and the median age is
probably 13.
Probably 13,
maybe,
if that. Right. So there are things that we're doing that resonates with the 8-year-olds and the 18-year-olds. Like,
checked out.
Who? I'm not doing that. There were things that we did that resonate with the 18-year-olds, and the 8-year-olds like, I don't know what we're talking about. I have to process that a little bit more, or, because I don't know what we're talking about, I'm disengaged.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, it's such a unique kind of an arrangement in a way, because you said it, take one, right? Here we are, take two. You taught kindergarten, and I taught music in the elementary school, 1st grade through 6th grade. And the reason why this is important is rarely are you going to have a single space or classroom where you have 8-year-olds in the same space as an 18-year-old, which means for the facilitator, for the workshop expert, for the mentor, for the coach, you've got to be using language that an 8-year-old can understand, that also a 15 or 18-year-old can understand. You've got to be engaging people in activities that will connect, whether you're 8 or you're 18. That's rare. That is we don't even arrange schools and classrooms in this country that way. So it was like that kind of setting for us. And here we are working with these guys. And let me tell you something for those who need to hear it, that there are really bright guys in this country. And we're not talking about just any old guys. Don't let the media fool you. Don't let the news fool you. Don't let, as I say, the smooth taste fool you. There are young Black men out here who are bright, who are brilliant, who are courageous, who are full of energy and full of life. Now we're going to talk about what happens between, I don't know, something about 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds. We got to talk about that, right? We have to talk about what schools and schooling does to them. But let's just go ahead and rewrite the narrative. Let's go ahead and tell the counter story from our experience today. We met young men today on a Saturday who said to us, I want to be a computer programmer. I play video games, but I don't play video games for video games' sake. I play video games because I want to design video games. We met a young Black man today who said, I want to be a cybersecurity specialist. And we asked him, how did you get into that? And he said, I just love computers. I learned how to program them. I learned how to work against hacks. I learned how to access computers using my programming and my skills and my intellect. We've met guys today who said, a young black man, shout out to Chase, said he wants to be a real estate agent. And we need more black real estate agents. We have met a ton of black men. We're going to come to this too in this episode, who said, I want to play pro football, pro basketball, pro baseball, pro every kind of ball there is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not meet many who said they want to be teachers, they want to be scientists, they want to be professors. So we got to do a better job with that. And to all the parents, all the aunties, all the uncles, all the grandparents out there, as you're talking to young people, no matter what their age is, encourage them to think about teaching. Encourage them to think about going into science or science medicine. Encourage them to think about going off into really becoming professors, because we need so many more of those.
Yeah, I think another thing that we did today was, we put things in 3 because, you and I, we enjoy doing things in 3. And, at the beginning of the session, we, had more of a like get to know you, because a lot of these men, if not all, never met each other, right? This was their first time seeing each other, getting to know them. The middle part was about belonging, which is what we talk about in research. And what it means is it's more than a buzzword. It has to be nurtured, facilitated, created. And how do we co-create those spaces? And then lastly, we kind of wrapped up with, introductions and, activities about, who is who and what do they enjoy? What do they like? And then, one thing that we do with a lot of our coaching is on a scale of 1 to 5, how are you feeling? And, when we were asking each participant today, what is your name? What grade are you in? What school do you go to? What do you want to be when you grow up? And we'll get to that last part in a moment. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a lot of them, some spoke up and spoke loud and proud about their name, what school they go to, and what they want to be. And there were others who mumbled the entire time. Where you had to literally lean in so much, like my nose is about to touch your nose, and it's going to get a little uncomfortable today, right? But I cannot hear you. So I need you to speak up, right? Speak out. Be proud of your name and what you want to be and who you are today, but where you're going to go eventually. Based on what you're exposed to and what you're learning. So I think that it's a skill, right? That it's an important skill. That you said, again, part 2, as you said in part 1 was, your mom really taught you how to speak up when you speak. And now you're on stages. We're on stages speaking up about things that are important today, important tomorrow, important in the future. Because again, belonging really matters. It's a basic human need. We all need it. We all want it. It's universal.
I mean, you think about it, someone right now, some of those guys that we're talking about may very well be the next keynote speaker, may very well be, many of them want to be. They said they want to have, 100 cars. And so, you have to appreciate the fact that you got to meet them where they are. So one of the things we did when they were saying, I want to have 100 cars. I want to have a big house. I want to be a millionaire. One guy said, no, I want to be a trillionaire. I want to have more money. Oh, Lord. We put this on X, no shade, Elon Musk, but he said he wants to have more money than you, Elon Musk. And the question, and the fact of the matter is, he could, but here's the thing: it's highly unlikely if no one can even understand your name because you're mumbling. So yeah, my mom, my dad, my grandmother raised me to speak up. Don't slouch, stand up, be proud of who you are. When you walk into a room, have some decorum. Let people know.
Have some decorum.
Let people know that, what they say, you belong to somebody. Like that we did something to teach you something. And so, and it was, I remember hearing it as a kid. I'm not entirely sure I appreciated it as much as I do now, but I realized I can go into spaces where I am the visitor. And I walk around like I belong there because I was trained to be confident and to know my name and to know how to shake hands and look people in the eye and introduce myself and then ask them for their name and wait to hear it and then use it. To have short small talk conversation. And I'm not going to pretend. There are many times I walk in rooms, I'm not sure why I'm there. I don't know how I got there. I feel, all the things that people say, imposter syndrome, intimidated. I have those feelings even now. But I also realize that my success in that room depends on me making sure that no one else knows that. And so as a man of faith, sometimes I pray. As a man of faith who's a musician, sometimes I sing to myself. As a man of faith who is a musician who's got loving parents, loving family, and loving friends, sometimes I call them up for a quick pep talk. I don't know what you got to do to get there. I just know you got to get there. So one of the guys said today, he wants to be a big old football player. We said, well, what kind of team do you want to play for? He said he want to play for the Houston Texans. Go shout out Houston Texans. He said, okay, but he's telling us, what's your name? So I said to him, all right, look, so you're a Houston Texan. It's a big game. You just won the Super Bowl. And after the Super Bowl, you know what's going to happen. There's going to be a press conference. The ESPN commentator is going to come up and say, oh my gosh, the Houston Texans have won the Super Bowl and we are here with DeAndre Smith. Well, how you doing, John? Tell us your name and tell us how you feel about what you did on the field today.
And we did all this, and we make sure we have the game.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense. You just won the Super Bowl. It's a sport. It's a press conference, and you mumbling in the mic. It's not going to work. So we told them, and to the teachers and to the educators and to the mentors and the coaches out there, listen, what we're simply saying is you got to meet them where they are. You're going to have to step into, imagine that they are the quarterback for the Texans. Teach them in that space. You're going to have to, that's culturally relevant pedagogy. It is drawing on their background and their aspirations. Granted, they are not your aspirations. You may not even like football. You may not even like baseball. Ooh, you may not even really, if you had to list your students out, they're not at the top of your list. But because you are a teacher, because you are educated, because you are a mentor, you have to meet them where they are and help them, help hold up their future self before them. You will be a Texan, and you will be the one they say, y'all know, the mumbling one. The one you never can understand.
Yeah.
Plays a good game, throws good ball, but you never understand them. You don't want that to be the narrative about you. And guess what? Now you've got him, and quite frankly, even her, climbing to try to be better. Why? Because you didn't beat them up because they mumble. You didn't make them feel bad about mumbling. You didn't tell them, pull up your pants and learn how to talk and all the stuff that teachers have said to them for years that throw water on their motivation. You met them where they were, and you encouraged them to go after their best self.
It's really an important conversation, because I think that in order for that to happen, it's important for, teachers in teacher prep programs and educators out there today to understand that we have to care enough about our students and care enough to educate them and train and pour into them. We did a conference, a webinar recently on Friday, and Dr. Aaliyah Carter said, and I want to quote, that leadership is a gift. But I want to pull one word out, plug one word in, that teaching is a gift. Teaching is a gift. Therefore, we need to make sure that we educate students. You cannot mumble in the interview.
No.
You cannot mumble on stage. You cannot mumble in choir. You cannot mumble when someone asks you, what's your name? It's good to meet you. Because the narrative is, can you talk?
Can you talk, period? Why would we want you on your team? I mean, you think about it. Here's the other thing we kept doing, and we'll move on. But, we really helped these guys understand. You think about it. You play football. You like football. You love football, whatever the case might be. And you're like, oh, I want to be a football player. But you don't realize that the quarterback really is not just a football position. It is also a leadership position. And we talked to the guys who kept saying, I want to be a football player. I want to be a quarterback. We help them understand that QB is a leadership role. It has enormous power. And that while you're just looking at the screen or playing the game, and all you see is somebody who, takes the ball and throws at someone, there's a whole lot of leadership that goes on in that. That first of all, a good quarterback gets the team in formation. You can't get me in formation if you don't have control and influence over me.
Yeah, the thing is, we had a lot of men in the room who shared that they want to be a pro basketball player, a pro football player, a pro baseball player. And there was one particular individual who had a lot of social influence.
Yeah.
But their behaviors and their attitudes, it was used inappropriately. And again, listen, as time went on, this training went on for 3 hours. We're talking about 8-year-olds and 18-year-olds. Listen, no one can sit there for that long.
That's long.
You got to move around. You got to take a potty break.
Yeah.
In my work, we do a lot of work on screen. There are moments like I have to get a bag of chips. Okay, yeah. I'm not getting a bag of chips because I'm hungry. Listen, I'm getting a bag of chips. I got to move.
Right.
I need to go to the bathroom. I have to stand up, sit down, look around, because we've been sitting for a while. We've been working for a while. But the thing is, social influence. He said that he's a quarterback and he wants to go to the NFL, but some of his behaviors needed to be corrected. And there are some educators out there who will share that, you would never make it to the NFL.
Yeah. Because
listen, your attitude is piss poor.
Yeah.
But I think that in order, we can say the same thing, but tastefully.
Yeah.
And I think we did that today.
Yeah.
We took a bathroom break. We pulled our man aside and we were like, listen, you have a lot of skill. You have a lot of potential. You have a lot of creativity. The future is bright. But you have to understand who you are today. One thing I want to share with you is that it's powerful. You have a lot of genius.
Yeah.
But we have to call a spade a spade. And the spade is your behavior and your attitude is negative.
Mm-hmm.
And no one is going to invest in you.
No.
If you are a locker room guy who brings the team down when things don't go your way.
Yeah.
You shared that in middle school you were 9-0. My assumption is that you were just based on your age, you were really good and you scored most, if not all, of the points.
Yeah. And
then in high school, you said once you got there, your team was 2-8, and I was like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're winning, you ready to go. When you're losing, what does that look like?
Yeah. Because from that role of QB, winning is not about you only. I mean, if there's nothing, you've got to get to know the team. You got to have enough influence to get them in formation. You got to get the team to want to play for you. I mean, people always focus on the coaches, and the coaches play an important role, but QB also plays an important role. And that is if your attitude is poor, if you don't ever throw the ball, if you're always trying to run it yourself, if you're disrespectful, you're condescending, nobody wants to play for you. No one's going to have you on their team. I mean, and that's not just football. That is good wisdom, even in the workplace. People are not going to promote you to manager because as a manager, you're going to need people who want to work for you. And if you're nasty and you're condescending and you're selfish and you goof off all the time and you got your little friends in your little corner and y'all hang out and talk, but you treat everybody else like they're invisible, nobody's going to want to work for you. So no company, not Elon Musk or anybody else for that matter, will want to hire you. All right, so we have to pay attention to that. We help the guys see that. And to the educators and the teachers, what we're really trying to help you see is that, look, we admit the work is complicated. It is not easy or for the faint at heart. If you are a person who's easily offended, listen, DM us, write us, follow us on all things social media at Do Good Work. Oh my. We got, to everybody in the audience, listen, thank y'all for being here. Like and retweet and share. We appreciate all of y'all tuning in for part 2, take 2. But listen, if you are a person who is easily offended, your feelings get hurt, you don't know you have no emotional intelligence, you don't know how to bite your tongue, and you are a teacher, DM us, write us at Do Good Work. We're going to help you find another job.
Because no one's going to make it clap for you.
We ain't going to make it clap. We don't have to, because let me tell you what. Teaching is not the field for it. Not today's students. First of all, they got cell phones. Those cell phones are basically little laptops in their hands. They are playing games. By the way, I don't know if you know it, they're playing games with each other. They are competing with each other on Fortnite and everything else while they are in class. And so you think you're teaching Spanish and you think you're teaching math and you think you're teaching history, but what's really happening is there's a whole competition going on in the classroom you know nothing about. And it's happening while you're talking. And it's happening while the guest speaker is there. And it's happening while the video is there. So you might be scratching your head saying, oh man, I thought I taught that lesson really well. Why are the quizzes going so badly? It's because they are also totally distracted. So now I don't know how you're going to do it. Some teachers take people's cell phones. I think what you do when you do that is you might frustrate them. You might get them angry at you. And I don't know if you want to do that. So what we suggest doing is, one, give them a break before you break down. Go ahead, put it in the chat. I see somebody's in here in the chat. I'm gonna see in a minute what y'all said up in here. Give them a break before you break down. Okay, here's why. Because if you don't give them a break before you break down, you're gonna be snippy. You're gonna be snappy. You're gonna pop off at them, and your temper. Which look, we both felt it today. There was one point I was told a guy, he was just beating on the table and beating on the table and beating on the table. And I said, please don't be on the table. Please stop being on the table. You know what? You must be a drummer. Don't be on the table. I said, you know what? Here, do me a favor. Don't be on the table now. I'm gonna let you beat on the table later. And you know what he started doing? He started beating the drums in the air. And at some point I want to say, if you beat one more thing, I'm gonna beat you. Right? It's natural. But I did not say that. I did not say that. What I did, and Jaquin's my witness. Listen, y'all, while teaching about belonging and listening to Jaquin and trying to make sure that when he's ready to toss the ball my way, I could catch it and deliver it in the direction we needed it. I was thinking, what song can I create or teach them that will get the musicians in the room to sing, get the drummers to drum, get the mixologists to mix? It's like I'm trying to tap into all of these multiple intelligences in the room. Shout out to our good brother Chris Emden and his hip hop urban ed movement. It was like I was trying to be a teacher and a mixologist, a DJ and an expert all at once. It's a lot, but I had to do it. And so in the middle of an exercise, I was like, listen, everybody get up. And we're giving y'all this for the teachers who are teaching, whether you're in urban settings or rural settings. Sometimes you got to give them a break before you break down. And one break you can give them is tell them all to get up. And while they're up, teach them a song. If you don't have a song, tell them to teach the song. And so, you know, we were there with, as I said earlier, Men Inc. And so what I decided to do was just go 1, 3, 5. And I was like, hey, for those of y'all who can hit this note, sing, I. And then those of you who are more altos do, am. And those of you who have heavy voices and you're more tenors and baritones, say, amen. And one of the guys, his name is King. I don't know why he did this. He has been watching way too much Sunday's Best or going to church. Every time he said, his like mouth started vibrating and his head moves and he shakes and he's like, you gotta do it like that. If you are really gonna sing, you gotta move your head, Mr. Terrell. So I don't know if y'all are out there practicing with us, but you can say, I am a man. You gotta move your mouth. You gotta shake your head. Well, before you know it, I realized, wow, we got singers in the room. While this is happening, I tell the drummers, give us the beat. One of the drummers who didn't stand out in other settings, Ashton, was like, listen, y'all, it's 2/4 time. We're like, 2/4 time? He's like, yeah, 2/4 time, that's what you want. And he just started clapping out the beat. And he's like, so, Mr. T, you go. And then he called in the altos. He calls in the tenors. And before you know it, we realize we have a genius in beats in front of us. And while they're all doing it, Leo, my man, my bro, my birthday twin, is mixing it up in mixology. This is what you got to do. If you're going to teach, you're going to do culturally relevant pedagogy. First of all, you got to get to know them. That means you got to earn their street cred. You know, let them know your name. Let them know your background. Let them know where you're from. But that's not just about what you did right and the degrees you got. Sometimes you got to let them wait a time when you didn't get it right. Look, I'm not perfect. I'm not here to put on. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm just a human,
I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a mentor, and I believe in you. All right. While you're earning street cred, you might also then, while you're getting to know them, and you get to know them rather, then you use the information that you know about them in productive ways. You don't throw water on the motivation. Jaquin mentioned it earlier. One of the guys said he wants to be in the NFL. And then he was like, well, but I probably can't ever do that. We were like, wait, why do you say you probably can't ever do that? He said, well, because people tell me I can't be in the NFL. We said, who has ever told you you can't be in the NFL? He said, my teacher. Teachers. We can't do that. We can't tell students what they can't do. Come on.
I think that happens out of frustration.
Yeah.
Right. I think that, I know that when we were teaching today, there was a little noise in the background. There was some things happening that, people snickering in. I'm like, what are we snickering about? I want to know. And I know it's very common for educators to ask students to humiliate them, saying like, what are you snickering about? We all want to laugh. That was not my intention. It was like, listen, we talked earlier about football and you guys have a lot of knowledge. I have some knowledge. And I want to know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
And out of frustration, because I felt myself at times today growing frustrated because I'm like, what are we doing?
Right.
And, at times when we are frustrated, we begin to pour water on our students' dreams.
Yeah.
Right. Our intent is to gain their attention, regain their attention, get them plugged back in. But that, although that is our intention, the way it lands for them is you're trying them.
Yeah.
You are dimming their light.
Yeah.
You are, extinguishing their dreams.
Yeah.
But there is a way to get them engaged or, bring them into the conversation without breaking them down.
Yeah.
And we did that multiple times today. Like, you were talking and, you asked, hey, so-and-so, like, Christian, we talked about a little bit about belonging and the elements of belonging. It's like acceptance, respect, caring about others, valuing them, making sure that people feel important and that you are make sure you are important to the group. And one of them shared, King, who shares my birthday, June 11th. King, I know you're listening because we told you about the podcast and we know you're here because you let us know. But the thing is, King is my king today. King, Jesus is my king. But King, at the end of the day, listen, come on now. You share each other's birthdays, so I appreciate that. We're Geminis. But, it's important to, course correct without putting them down.
Yeah.
We can do things and bring them back to the classroom without being distasteful.
Yeah.
And one way that we did that, King shared, acceptance. Acceptance is about no matter who you are, what you do, what you like, what you don't like. I still accept you.
Mm-hmm.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
None of that matters to me. We can still, what is it called? We can still be in the same space.
Yeah.
We can still live in the same space
Coexist.
and coexist. There we go. Without being rude or hurtful or, saying things that causes pain. And I appreciated that because it allowed others to share what acceptance means for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been in spaces where people didn't accept them. Yeah. And that is when the student raised his hand and said, you guys asked us earlier about what we want to be when we grow up. And I really want to be a football player. Like, I work hard, but someone has told me that I can't be that.
Yeah.
I would never get there.
Yeah.
And it was hurtful. And the group began to listen more because they said, there was a time where
that happened to me.
I wasn't accepted for who I was.
Yes.
And you know how that made me feel? There was a time where I have a situation with my father who I feel don't accept me for who I am right now. I work every single day to make sure that I make him proud. But it's really hard to make him proud every single day. Mm-hmm. It's a struggle. I wake up daily, and I cannot make him happy.
Mhm.
Am I accepted in this world?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so this is what happens. The power of what happens when we create these kind of spaces where young men, students, especially young Black men, can be vulnerable, can be honest, can start to let down their walls. We can't, as educators, we can't break down their walls. We can't pull down their walls. We have to create the conditions where they start to feel safe to share, to lean in, to reveal, to open up. And it happens when we do the hard work of one that is modeling for them, that behavior. Why in the world would I open up to you when you're not open up to me? Why would I disclose anything? We're writing about this in the book chapter right now. Why would I disclose anything to you when you have not disclosed anything to me? The only thing you've told me is the stuff I already know. I know you're the teacher. I know you're the authority. I know you went to school. I know you're older than me. But is there anything else you can tell me about me that's going to help me realize, wow, this is a person who principles of belonging applied. That is, I know you care about me. I know you're in my corner. I know you're not there to hurt me or harm me. You really want the best for me. These are the kinds of messages we have to send forth if we're going to try to change this. Now, here's everything we observe. That is, something does happen to young Black men in schools and schooling between the ages of 10 and I'm going to say probably about 15. Something happens between 8, 9, and 10. And by the time you get to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, because we watch young men today who are 8, 9, and 10 years old. Man, they came in the program. They came in the room. They were so excited. They were eager to learn. They were ready to volunteer. Ooh, 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 pick me. Ooh, ooh, pick me. Can I do it? Can I do it again? Can I do it again? Hey, I know I'm already done it again, but can I do it again? That's the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. But something happens. By the time you get to 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's like, hey, can you do this?
No.
Nah, bro.
I'm not doing
I don't do that.
I'm not engaged in that.
I don't do that. I don't sing. I don't speak. I don't smile. I don't laugh. I'm not interested. No, pick someone else. Or you call on them and it's like, So the question to our audience friend has to be this. I'm going to ask it this way. Y'all, what have we done to them?
That's a question. Type it in the chat. What have we done? We observed it today. There were the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds who continue to raise their hand, ready to go, jumping in and out, double dutching.
Uh-huh.
And then, there were they were clapping, right? They were clapping it up. But the middle schoolers and the high schoolers are like, we're talking about feelings. Mm-hmm. And my friend is in the room who I know we're in a group chat, and I'm not trying to be exposed to all that, because if I get into my feelings, I'm subject to harm and hurt and judgment,
or tears or emotion, or
I don't know why I would do that.
Yeah,
I don't still know why I would.
Mm-hmm.
So what have we done in the school to create this? We have created it.
We've created. I think that not just them.
The schooling environment has disabled them.
Yeah.
The schooling environment has disabled them. It has, they're now withdrawn from opening up, being vulnerable, sharing, raising their hand, and fully participating in conversations that may not be accepted in their friendship spaces.
Yep. We
have to understand and appreciate that their policies and codes and practices doesn't always align with ours. We have to understand that, students that we work with are aware of who's around them. We have to understand that what we see as participation is not what they view as participation.
Easily. Yeah. I mean, that part of what this is about is like, we have to appreciate the fact that they are not us and we are not them. That's actually the beauty of it. I mean, that we as educators, we do play a role, we do matter, we do belong, but we have to also appreciate that, like, they're doing something. And here's the term. I hope you remember what your cue is on this point. It's like, we have to appreciate what's happening in the room.
But the thing is this, we use this word appreciate all the time.
Every day.
Every day. Everybody in the pause. But the thing is, we use appreciation. What does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it means that part of it is like, we have to understand and honor. I feel like we're going to end up writing this in something. Appreciate means as educators, we have to understand and honor what's in the room. So it's one thing to understand. Like, okay, for example, people always say to me, oh, I don't understand why black boys be sagging their pants. Okay, I don't understand why all the black boys got J's and Jordans or Nikes. I don't understand why they just can't do this. I don't understand why they can't comb their hair. Okay, listen, folks. If I were to go there, and I guess I should because it's the podcast and we're trying to help and do good work. If young men had a voice in that conversation, guess what they would say to us? I don't understand why you live in the neighborhood you live in. I don't understand why you drive the car that you drive. I don't understand why you have to go to that dinner. And when you go to that dinner, why do you have to dress that way? And when you dress that way, why do you have to put on your fur? And what you would say to them is because I'm trying to fit in, I'm trying to belong, I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses, because I know that I work hard every day. Because I work hard every day and I make money, I should be able to have some good things in life. Good things in life for me is translated into you live in a certain neighborhood, you have a certain car, you got fur, whatever it might be. Like those are the same rules that drive them to want to play the game, to wear Jordans and Nikes. Listen, somebody needs to hear this, to put their cap on and then turn it around backward. That's the code of brotherhood for them. It's not our code, but it's their code. And so for teachers and for principals and for assistant principals who snatch hats off of young black boys in school, or who tell them, pull up your pants and walk like a man. I mean, all you're simply doing is verbally confirming for them what they already knew in their heart, and that is that you don't know me. You don't even understand me. Nor do you really care about me, because you don't understand that in order for me to fit in and to be accepted and respected and belong in my peer group, I've got to have this hat backward. So we're not saying, listen, you can have your rules, you can have your codes of conduct. I'm just simply saying that a culturally relevant understanding of it is not just one that can rattle off what we just said. The second part of it is that you can honor it and say, look, I realize those are not my rules. I realize those are not the forces that operate against me, but we all got forces that drive us to do certain things. And so I want you to know I see you, King, and I understand it. And what I'm simply saying is, listen, I want you to go to the NFL and I want you to go to the NBA. And although the data is clear that pretty much less than 2% of y'all will ever go, here's what I'm trying to tell you is I believe you can go, but you're not going to get there if your grades aren't good, if you don't know how to manage your emotions, if we don't work together with your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, your cousins, your pastor, your mentor at Men Inc. Houston to learn how to watch your mouth, you're not going to get there. It's not because you don't have the ability. I believe in you, but I'm going to activate my faith. I'm going to demonstrate my faith in you to tell you I cannot allow you to clown around. So I'm not going to call you out. Oh, I'm not going to put your nose in a corner and stick some gum. That's disgusting. And it's germ. Oh my gosh. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, guess what? Bro, get up. Go to that table over there. Number off 1 to 5. That's what we did today. We realized that at some point, the weight in the room was us. And then at some other point, the weight in the room were these 5 guys. The quarterback, the linebacker, the who else?
The wide receiver.
Wide receiver. They were all over there just cutting up, making a bunch of noise, banging on table, and everybody had their attention. And we didn't call them out. We weren't condescending. We didn't, talk nasty to them. We didn't say, close your mouth, shut up, get up. You don't. No, what we did was we said, all right, in the middle of it, break before we break down.
number off 1 to 5. And if you think about it, they're all sitting together. They're clustered together. So that means they're not going to end up at the same table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. We clap.
Clap it. Make it clap. Make it.
And before you know it, they end up at different tables. With a simple exercise like that, we redistributed the power in the room. And friends, it worked. Before you know it, they can't talk to each other. So I don't know, some teacher, y'all, you need to try that on Monday. Here's the other thing, and I'm tagging you in, friend. It's like, remember the thing we did where we also had them, we're talking, he's teaching, he's talking about belonging, I'm coming talking about the elements, he's talking about the elements. Before you know, we're like, everybody stand up. The next exercise is we want you to get into a line according to your birthdays. And we told them that January is over here and December's over here. Now, depending on the age groups you're working with, you may have to help them remember that it goes January, February, March. Y'all know the months. All right. So we had them do that. But here's the rules. You cannot talk. And then give them a couple minutes and see if they can get themselves in a single row according to the birthday. They were able to do it on the second try. The interesting thing about that activity is this: they learn something about each other's birthday. And if they don't remember the exact day of your birthday, they sort of remember the relative distance between them and their brothers. The second thing is they learn the power of nonverbal communication, which Jaquin and I use to really help them understand what life must be like for their brothers and sisters who are living with verbal and other kinds of disabilities, who use their hands to communicate on a regular.
And I think it's, it was a very powerful moment that, something they never really thought about. And once we shared that people do live with disabilities and disabilities that disadvantage them, but what also through our work and what we share with them is that our social environments create barriers. We must be mindful about that. We did another activity with them about, how to introduce yourself and remember someone's name. And there was a point during the exercise that someone was making it clap, right? And they continued to laugh over and over again. During the exercise, they were introducing themselves to another young male, and they were laughing their entire time. And, as you said, earlier in the session, we were the forces that was kind of facilitating a lot of the training. Mm-hmm. But at some point, the young men began to take control of the environment, all making it clap. Yes. And one of them intervened and was like, "Listen, I understand that there are moments where we all begin, there's a moment where we just laugh uncontrollably. Yeah. And it's hard to compose ourselves.
Once you hit there.
But this is serious.
Yeah.
We are young Black men. We are young Black dudes. This is what he shared with the group. He commanded the room. Yeah. And he was like on his own. No one had to push him, force him, or tell him what to do. He literally paused everyone. Was like, listen, I understand that something is funny because you're making it clap, but you need that is inappropriate. It's not the place to do that.
Right.
We're learning a skill that we must know because we're at a disadvantage. Yeah. We're Black, we're male. Some of us have dreads. Hey, Terrell and Jaquin talked about early on in the session about barbershop talk. And we all go to the barber to get the freshest lineup. But, we understand how, we all look alike and we look similar. We can talk about some of the things that we all resonate with, such as sports. But some of us are concealing certain identities. Again, these are things that we just learned today, y'all.
Yeah.
We learned this today. These are his words. I'm just you know, I'm to the best of my memory, I'm trying to share with what was said in the room. And he was like, you know, there are some of us who are concealing our identities.
Mhm.
So while you're laughing and snickering and cutting up in the corner and making eyes to one another, it may be funny, but it's an insensitive joke.
Right.
And it, you know, although it's funny to you, it's hurtful to him. And again, I want to remind us all, we're co-creating the space where we all feel accepted and respected.
Yeah.
So I need you to get it together.
Yeah.
And get back on task in order for us to be successful in this world.
Period.
In this world that, you know, pushes us to the side, marginalize us. He didn't use that word, okay? But push us to the side is what he said. So stay focused, stay engaged. Hey, put your phone away.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, y'all. Let's get back to it.
And it was such a powerful moment because it's in that moment you realize, one, you've got their attention. Two, you also realize that they are self-governing. You know, they don't need you to tell them, put it down, stand up, sit down, you know, do 5 jumping jacks. I mean, this is what we observe in all of our school observations. We go to schools all across this country, and there's so many adults yelling at kids. I don't think there was a single time we yelled today. In fact, I know there was not a single time that we yelled today, which is really a lesson that I learned from my maternal grandmother. She's deceased now. Ma would say all the time, you got to stop yelling at kids because they don't listen to you anyway when you're yelling. And we spoke to them as young men. And we
But listen though, that is something we need to say, because again, as adults, we know relatively what it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
To an extent, we know that cutting up and laughing and not listening is something that is not appropriate, and it's not accepted in really all spaces.
Yeah.
So pay attention.
Yeah.
But when we're yelling at them, you know, especially, you know, another young man, you know, shared that he is late to school almost every single day.
Every night.
And, you know, school starts at 8:00. He gets in around 8:12, right? And his teacher is just now beginning class, and he's walking in the door, and she immediately yells at him, "Sit down! Why are you get in your seat? Put your bag away!" And he's like, "Listen, at this point, I don't listen to her anymore." So I went to speak to share that. Hey, you know, he said, I wanted to tell her, I am in the 6th grade. I don't drive.
Yep.
Before I even got to finish my sentence, she said, "I didn't ask you no question. Sit down."
Right.
And he was like, you know, that happened at 8:15 in the morning. I don't want to learn anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. You know, and he was like, "Can I be honest with you all? Can I truly be honest?" And we're like, "Absolutely." And this is a space where we want you to share openly and honestly and be transparent without any fear of judgment. He was like, "This is from a white teacher,
Right.
who knows nothing about me."
Yep. You know, I think the role of teacher is so important. And it's, you know, one of those roles where, you know, you just don't know the influence you're having. Like even today, we don't know the impact we've had on these guys. I mean, here's one thing, you know, we haven't even really talked about this one, right? So I don't remember. We were about to wrap up. We handed back over to the executive director of the program. One of the guys came over to us immediately and was like, "Wait, y'all about to leave?" We were like, no, we staying for lunch. He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So as they ate lunch, he was about to leave. His parent was there to pick him up. He came up to us. He was like, "All right, then. See you, Jaquin. See you to." He was trying to place my name. Like that is a real obvious sign of the kinds of connections that you can build with students. And you can build them. Listen, don't let the media and the messages fool you. You can create those kind of bonds, strong bonds with Black males, regardless of who you are as a teacher. It doesn't matter if you're tall or if you're short, if you're thick or you're thin, if you're light or you're dark, if you're white or you're black, if you are wear glasses or don't wear glasses, if you're in your first year of teaching or your 50th year of teaching, what these guys want and what they need, first of all, is somebody who just cares enough to see me, to learn my name. Secondly, that, do you care enough to not just talk at me, but let me talk? Here's the part that people won't say this. Students won't say, they don't wear buttons that say this, but not just get to know me and let me talk, but if I'm a little shy, make me talk. If I'm a little quiet, create an activity that allows me to show you my genius. And that when I display my genius, that you'll appreciate it. Y'all know we appreciate me. We just went over that a few minutes ago. That you will see it and honor it. That it may not be in math, but you'll still see me as genius. That it may not be in history, but you'll still see me as mixologist. It may not be in chemistry. It may not be in writing, but you'll see my genius in music, in dance, in art, in spoken word, in walking in a straight line, and telling the people in the room, be quiet, that I cannot always be, maybe I'm not going to be the chemist, but I'm going to be the coach. Maybe I'm not going to be the mathematician, but somehow I'm going to be the musician. I may not be the philosopher, but I'll be the preacher. Something about me you've got to appreciate. And as my teacher, as my mentor, as my coach, I'm looking for somebody to just tell me, I'm good. I got something good. I got something good. Like the guy told us, I'm looking for my daddy to give it to me. My mama always gives it. My aunt always gives it. My grandma gives it. But every day I wake up, I'm looking to receive it from my dad translated. I'm looking for some other black man to tell me I'm worth it.
That's it. That's it. Literally, I think that it's important. Another thing that we did today was we taught them how to tie a bow tie.
Yeah.
Right? And this was my very first time tying a bow tie. I know how to tie a tie, but a bow tie, nope, haven't done that.
About.
I was like 90%. I give myself 90%, but I gotta find that last knot, right?
We're gonna work on it.
There are so many young black men. There was like 2 or 3 who got it. And there was many in the room who, grew frustrated. Like, I don't know how to do this. I know I got to step 2, but I don't know how to get to step 3. I got to step 3, but I can't get to I can't finish it. Heck, I couldn't finish it. And I noticed that there were some who began to give up.
Yeah.
But the power of encouraging students, we have to be mindful of our words, right? Instead of saying wow, you got it. Wow, you got it. On the first try, on the second try, good job, woo, 100. But also, I think the best practice is focusing on the effort and the energy and the time is powerful.
Yeah.
That keep going, keep moving,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because somebody's gonna clap for you. And I noticed in that moment my role as a facilitator. You notice in that moment the role as the instructor on how to tie a bow tie is to encourage them, continue to encourage them. Go to them like, Chase, come on over here. Listen, I've got to the 3rd step. Jaquin has got to the 3rd step.
Yeah.
I can get you there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because so many of them were willing to give up. If there were 18 of them, probably after the first couple of minutes, I would wreck half of them. Were like, nah, I didn't get it on the first try. So come on, positive psychology class, that, I didn't get on the first try. If I were able to tie a bow tie, I should have got it on the first try. If I got to work at it, then I'm not cut out for this. Listen, teachers, educators, moms, dads, aunties, uncles, pastors, preachers, policemen, court, people in the court are called judges. Listen, whatever it is, we got to tell young people, especially young black men, no, brother, no, sir. You can get this right, but you are going to have to practice. And Jaquin just said it. You got to let them know, look, I'm trying to. I'm only on step 3. And this is my 5th try. Translate it. We're not just talking about bow ties. Listen, I opened a company and it failed. But guess what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try again. I tried to open my own company in real estate. It didn't work. So now I'm selling cookies. The cookies didn't bake right. So now I'm making t-shirts because I'm not going to give up on my dream of being an entrepreneur. We got to tell somebody, okay, a little churchy, but tell them your testimony. Tell them what you've done, the tests you've overcome, that I know what it's like to go to work and not like your job, but sometimes you got to go to a job you don't like so you can get to a job you do like, that sometimes you got to show up when you don't want to show up so you can get to the job and then show out. You got to help them because they've never seen it. There's something you've been through that's going to help somebody else get through their go through. And I think today I realized, man, young Black men are gifted. They're talented. Yes, they are beautiful and they are Black. But if we're not careful, they're going to give up because the world is hostile towards them. The world is unkind towards them. And there are some tasks that are difficult that they're going to have to push through. And I watched us help them persist, help them persevere. And y'all know what? Listen. Shout out to Leo. Shout out to Ethan. Shout out to
Chase. Shout out to King. Shout out Kelton. Shout out to all of us.
Listen, they figured out how to tie a bow tie. In fact, at one point, little Leo went over and was teaching other people how to do it. That's what's possible, teachers, when we invest in them, that they become the teachers, they become the role models, they become the tutors. And I'm gonna tell you, there's no better boost to their ego than to know I'm out here now teaching people. Their egos go up, their energy goes up, their confidence goes up. The moms and dads come back and they're clapping because they're so proud of their young person. I'm just simply trying to tell you
that's how you make
that
your money.
Today we saw it. And I'm trying to tell you that we can do something to fight back and to challenge or resist this Black male crisis. If you are a teacher who believes that those 5 who are misbehaving in the corner will break it up on their own, you are wrong. If you are a teacher who believes the problems in this room, the noise in this room, the banging on the table will sort of stop itself, you're wrong, sis, bruh. Anybody? No, you're just wrong. Your teacher prep program has led you wrong. It's not true. It's not going to happen. You are going to have to intervene, but to intervene, you don't have to be disruptive. To intervene, you don't have to interrogate. To intervene, you don't have to be condescending. 1, everybody number off 1 to 5. Reorder the power in the room. Everybody get up. Order yourselves according to your birthday. Teach them. I'm going to teach you how to communicate without words. Everybody get up. Take a break. 5 minutes. Go to the bathroom. Come right back. These are the ways you can reset the room. You can reorder the power. And you can keep them focused on the assignment at hand while also honoring who they are as humans.
I think another thing that we learned today, and I know that we also have a couple of our positive psychologist students in the room, so this is for you, is that there are people in this world who have a fixed mindset.
Yep.
That the skills and abilities are innate, whether I have it or I don't. And if I don't have it, I can't grow and develop my skills. And that's some things that we saw today. There were many of them, some of them who, couldn't get the listen, I still can't get it. But I have my bow tie over here on this couch, and I'm actually going to practice today. I'm going to practice while I write a chapter. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is a fixed mindset. But as educators, we play a particular role in encouraging them and sharing with them that they have something, they can get it. It takes practice. It takes effort. You stay engaged. It takes experience. Okay. People in the room, we talked about 2 weeks ago about writing, I think. But again, it does take practice. It doesn't just happen automatically.
Yeah.
And then another thing is about growth mindset. Understanding that I didn't get it today, but I will get it. I can learn. I can grow. I can develop. Hey, I understand where I am today, but through practice, through experience, through understanding where I am today, I will get it. But I think, students with a fixed mindset, as educators, as teachers, we must pour into them and share with them that, listen, I understand where you are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet you where you are.
Yeah.
All right, Chase, Chase, come over here. Listen, I'm on step 3. All right, this is where I can get you. But let's continue. Let's do step 1, step 2, step 3. Because step 2, you're struggling with step 2. But I listen, you already said, like, how can we take somewhere where you've never been? I've been to step 3.
That part.
Now, step 4, I gotta call the expert in, okay? But again, let's wait on the expert to get here to show us exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, Chase had a bow tie.
Yeah.
Chase went from somber, blue, not trying. He gave up completely.
Yeah.
He was amotivated. But now, when the moment he finished, and that bow tie was perfect. I mean, perfect on his neck. Everything, his expressions changed.
Yeah.
Right. He lightened up.
Yeah.
He smiled. He walked around the room. Let
Yeah,
his peers
looking
know,
in the
like,
TV.
hey, I got my 2, King. You ain't the only one, King. King, I got it. Look at me. Hey, Mom, Dad, he left. Make it clap, y'all. Make it clap, y'all. He left. He kept it on. And he made sure his mom saw it because he was so proud. What I'm sharing with you is it takes work. It takes energy. It takes time. It takes patience to make sure our students get to where they need to go. And although we don't have all the answers, we invest in them. We care enough about them because they matter. They matter so much to us that we want them to reach the goal that they set for themselves. And when they reach them, we share with them that, okay, it's time to make a new goal because we don't just stay here. Okay, life continues. So what's next? Chase, are you going to practice when you get home? Absolutely, because you helped me. Yeah. I want to do it by myself. Yeah. He went from somber, blue, down, gave up completely, to happy, proud, and willing to practice on his own. Yeah. That's what it takes work. Listen, come on, y'all. Listen, I was on step 3 for a full hour. And I share with you that I still don't know. But again, what I'm trying to share with you is that as educators, we have to do the work.
Got to.
Because this is our future.
Yeah.
And we understand where we are right now in this world, regardless of your political stance. But we all have the same common goal. We want America, how do I say this? To evolve and grow, right?
Yeah.
In order for that to happen, we must invest in our youth.
Yeah. And the only way this happens, I mean, we're at the final couple of minutes. Y'all have made us tremendously proud tonight. I'll come to the numbers in a moment, but listen, the only way that we do this is by doing the work. When Jaquin says doing the work, listen, y'all, I guess I'll call myself the bow tie expert in the room today. Made me so proud. I was looking over at my friend. He was trying to get his tie together. Like he said, he got through several steps, not all the steps yet, but you know what he did, y'all? He was holding court. He was pulling guys in like, oh, no. I can't let you give up on the tie. Come over here. You come over here. He's pulling in 2, 3, 4 chairs. So now we've got the big group learning and then we've got small group learning. So we're just trying to talk to the teachers out there. Listen, y'all, we know you're stressed. You've done a good job. You made it to December. Give yourself a pat on the back. We're trying to tell you, somebody out there, right in the chat, you need to shout out all the teachers who made it to December. We're here to tell you it is not easy. Let's not fool ourselves that every single teacher deserves some applause because you made it. You've done a good job and we're proud of you. But listen, it's not over. The semester's not over. And even if you have hit the end of your semester, you're going to have to come back and get ready for the spring semester. What we're trying to tell you is sometimes you're going to have to teach the lesson to the big group. And while the big group is learning, you're going to have small learning communities within the classroom. And those small learning communities you can't teach both. So you're going to have to Find the Leo in the room. Find the king in the room. I love that. King in the room. Say again, king in the room. And tell them, listen, while I'm working with the big group, I need you to go over there and work with the smaller groups. And that some of the facilitators of these smaller groups are not just white girls and white boys and Asian girls. They are Black men and they're Latino men. And we've got to see the genius in them. And then we have to empower them, because something happens when you empower them to be the teacher, to be the tutor. It just boosts their confidence. It makes them want to look good. It makes them want to talk good. It makes them want to act good. That's what you got to do. You're going to have to create smaller learning communities within the larger community. I saw my friend do it today while we were doing this with the young guys. And then listen to this. While the lesson is going on, you're going to have to connect with them. Let them know, like, you don't get it, I don't get it. But we're together, we're going to get it. And we're not getting up until we get it. And you're gracious and you're patient and you're kind. And here's the other thing, and I'm going to stop on this one because this will break me completely down to tears. But I saw a friend acting like he was on an airplane. Y'all know how it is when you go on an airplane. It says, if you are riding with a small child, you're supposed to put your face mask on before you can help them. He is like, you know what? Listen, I'm focused on you and your tie. I'm going to get my tie right. But right now, I'm focused on you. He's not sitting here trying to get his tie right, which is only going to make them feel more inferior. He's using the time to help them get their tie right. And so here's the question. I know we're about to wrap up, and we thank y'all for the 400 plus people who are here. Listen, it's the matter of trying to understand, can we put them first? Can we prioritize them? Can we put their needs ahead of ours? Can we really, truly, honestly, as teachers, educators, administrators, superintendents, professors, and mentors and friends, say, but I want to make sure you're okay first. Are you good? Do you have what you need before I make sure I have what I need? And part of this is also, can I forgive you? Because there are teachers right now who can't teach Marcus this week because you're so mad about what he did last week. That you cannot possibly teach Romeo because Romeo was standing in front of the class clapping it up 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was clapping.
And so he's sitting here cutting up, making, being a class clown. You mad at him and you still haven't forgiven him, which is why, you know what, you gave him his assignment last, and you're thinking about what he did in class while you're grading his assignment. And little do you know, that means you're giving more credit to some students and less credit to him. And the question is, can you forget it all, put it all behind you, and forgive him? And don't just do it silently. Could any of y'all dare to forgive him publicly? Could you ever imagine coming to the classroom and saying, I need to forgive y'all. And secondly, I need y'all to forgive me. Because you know what? Last week, I said some rude stuff to y'all. And teachers not rude. I apologize. I'm human. And you know what? I was frustrated because you threw the stapler at me. And I don't like staplers being thrown at me. You know what? I was rude because y'all keep tearing up this classroom. And every day y'all throw these chairs around and y'all spill red juice on the floor. I got to go and clean it up. But you know what? I got to apologize to you because you are my students and you are kids.
Absolutely. I think, belonging is not a buzzword. Belonging is not a buzzword. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. It takes creativity. It takes being innovative. It takes facilitating, nurturing. Belonging isn't magic. Just because we say everyone belongs, it doesn't magically happen. But when done well, magic can happen. All the time we talk about, listen, I know, and I'm on my friend daily about this. It's like we talk so much about student belonging, but I'm here to say, we're here to say that you are enough.
Mm-hmm.
You do matter.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, friends. Hey, teachers. Hey, educators. You belong just as you are. I hope you took something from this episode.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you play an important role.
Yeah.
You create magic.
And after looking at these 18 guys today, some tall, some short, be honest, some thick, some thin.
Some make
Some
it
with gifts and talents. On the football field, the baseball field, some of them musicians. But look,
and make it clap.
some of them who, we got to be honest, I haven't seen their father in years. Some whose mom dropped them off quickly, swiftly, and did not turn back around. But to teachers, to educators, to administrators, to mentors, to pastors, to coaches, even the college mentors that are out there, we got to tell you something, and we mean it with the bottom of our heart. On your darkest day, when you don't get anything right, when you doubt yourself, when you don't think your life has meaning and your life does not have purpose, that on those dark, gray, rainy days, you are some students' brightest light. That without you, they don't believe in themselves. Without you, they don't feel good about themselves. That without you, they don't know that things get better. So our message to you tonight, our message to you every episode, our message to you in our writing, our message to you in the podcast is, listen, don't dim your light because it's a rainy day. Come on now. Don't dim your light because other people tell you, you always doing too much. You always the loudest one. You always act like you on 10. You always turn. No. You don't change to fit in. You remain yourself. Turn the light up and shine because the world is dark right now. And it needs the light that you bring. While you're out there shining your light, everybody join together. And you got to do good work.
Thank you for tuning in to Do Good Work Podcast. We hope you found today's conversation informative, uplifting, and insightful. Don't forget to like and share this episode with your networks. Follow us on social media at Do Good Work on X, formerly Twitter, for real-time updates, behind-the-scenes content, and so much more. Until next time, friends, don't be afraid to do something, but do something good. Do good work.